what I was saying, I didn't want this to go into two parts, and no, I don't know when I get my unlimited upload back, if ever. So there's no reason to ask because I have no idea. I can only guess, and even then, it's just a guess. But anyway, because I didn't go only go up to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. But I was saying before with Lethal Weapon 2, I still think it's a very solid sequel. I think it's a worthy sequel. I think the characters have a lot of fun with each other. I think Mel Gibson and Danny Glover still have that great spark and chemistry with each other. I think having Leo guess Joe Pesci's character was a very fun addition. The bad guys were evil. They were definitely evil. And I understand why they did that stuff. So, again, if people out there, if you saw the first part of this review and you're already typing it in, I already know that the reason there was taught that Patsy Kensit's character. Actually, if you see on the Lethal Weapon 4 DVD, or that's also on this Lethal Weapon 4 part of this Blu-ray, that Patsy Kensit's character, they actually shot a scene for the ending that she was alive and having Thanksgiving with the family. And it says on Wikipedia, but we all know Wikipedia isn't always the most truthful, that there were scenes shot of her rescue, but I've never seen that. I've never heard that before. I guess I would think if that was, they would have put it on the Blu-ray or something like that, but either way, I understand that the reason they did that was to make the bad guys even more evil, more crueler, to really give Mel Gibson's character that big motivation to go after these guys, and I understand that. Uh, but it just seems like the tone, and again, this is just a little nitpick. The tone kind of wasn't as consistent to me as part one and part three. That's just my opinion. Because again, it starts out with a Looney Tunes stuff, and then in your third act, all your cop buddies are getting killed. Not only do your new girlfriend get killed, but you find out this guy also killed your wife, which again is a coincidence that's kind of bitter. Like, really? That's taking a big leap. Uh, and then, like I was saying before, I got cut off. The the action scene where they find out there's this ship and this sort of cargo is being loaded up with money in a car, and they fly the car off, so the money floats down, and Mel Gibson and Dangler fuck some people up. And Mel Gibson gets in the fight with this subordinate guy. Definitely not as good as the fight in the first Lethal Weapon film. Really, all it is he gets a knife in his leg, gets the shit kicked out of him, punches the guy a couple times, gets the knife, stabs the guy, and then walks over and hits the thing, and the thing falls on the guy. Not much to it. I will say Danny Glover got the more badass thing where, the ass was diplomatic immunity. Shoots a motherfucker in the head, and Danny Glover's like, just been revoked. But then, before that, Mel Gibson gets shot, and it's like, I know in the original script by Shane Black, there was talk of Riggs being killed. That at the end of Lethal Weapon 2, what was supposed to happen was Riggs was supposed to get shot, and he was supposed to die. And then some of the changes they had, Shane Black pretty much left and said, fuck this, I don't want anything to do with this stuff anymore. And that's why on the screenplay here, it says, what's his name? What's his name? I know Jeffrey Boehm is on screenplay. But yeah, Shane Black's original idea was to have Riggs die. And I don't know if maybe there was talk of maybe doing it or not. Like maybe if the film wasn't testing well, they said, well, okay, it's testing not too good and not too well, so we might as well end it with Riggs dying. I don't know, but I'm glad they didn't end with Riggs dying. Even though I don't understand how he survived. Because he got shot to shit, but then he survived, and I'm like, I don't know how. But I do. It's definitely got a good emotional moment at the scene where you lightly hear, "I'm not knocking on heaven's door," and then like Murtaugh saying, "You're not dead until I tell you." You hear me, Riggs? You're not dead until I tell you. I thought that was a really cool thing. I thought that was a really nice idea on it. Thought that was very cool. But either way, uh, really good stuff with the characters, with Roger Murtaugh and Martin Riggs. I thought Danny Glover and Mel Gibson the film. Played the film. They played the characters very well. They still have the great spark of chemistry. They're still very funny with each other. You have memorable sequences like the toilet sequence. Leo Getz, Joe Pesci was a great addition to this film. Have another solid score by Michael Kamen and Eric Clapton, as well as David Sanborn. Uh, trying to think. Still has some solid action sequences. Goes at a good pace, and still had a lot of funny stuff. Uh, Patsy Kensit was a nice love. What do you call it? Was a nice subplot, love story subplot. Patsy Kensit, she was nice for the little bit she had to do. It's just the ending. Well, not the ending, but at the end, it's kind of weird that the first hour is like, okay, we're having fun, and sort of having fun with the film. Then the third act gets very dark. It is just kind of weird how the very opening of the film is a Looney Tunes stuff, and then at the end of the film, it's like, okay, not only does this guy kill your wife, which I'm like, really, but now he's killed your new girlfriend, and then Joe Pesci's kidnapped, and they killed a lot of your cop buddies, and then you think Riggs is gonna die, and you think he is dead. I'm like, whoa, 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 okay, wow, it just. I know it sounds stupid. I did. It's only a little nitpick. I still think this is a worthy sequel. I still really enjoy the film. But for some reason, I just like part 1 and part 3 better, but it's still a worthy sequel. Still a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment. Really love these two characters, and the actors play off each other very well. And I don't know what more I can say. I mean, it's Lethal Weapon 2. It's a very solid sequel. But nitpicks aside, I'm still glad to have it as part of this collection. Again, really the only one I have major problems with is Lethal Weapon 4, but the first 3 Lethal Weapon films I do enjoy. And next up will be Lethal Weapon 3, which, again, is my second favorite of the franchise. I know 98% of the people out there will say that Lethal Weapon 2 is much better than Lethal Weapon 3, but for me, I just always preferred Lethal Weapon 3 over Lethal Weapon 2. Maybe when I watch it again, I can get more in detail why, but I'm one of the few. But yeah, Lethal Weapon 2 is still a solid sequel. Still a worthy sequel. It was a big hit when it came out in the summer of '89. And the summer of '89 was huge. I mean, you had Batman, and you had, was it Ghostbusters 2 was there, and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom was there. No, not Temple of Doom. Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was there. And I think the James Bond film was a License to Drive or such. I can't remember, but I know there's a lot of huge movies in the summer of '89. Mr. Bush, a lot. Well, I was only like 6 years old when this film came out, and I wasn't going to theaters much when I was 6 years old. But if I could, it would have been nice to see films like this in theaters, unlike nowadays. That's another thing. You see stuff like this big fucking house on stilts, the huge thing being pulled down, and it's a real fucking house. They really did that. Just all the practical stuff they do, and a lot of fun energy. Like even the very opening where, Mel Gibson's character is just so excited in this chase, and Dan Glover just doesn't want to wreck his wife's new car. It kind of makes me depressed about movies nowadays, because I don't get that excitement like I get from watching these films. Like, watching these films or Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and I know 3 are going to be more excitement than really any film I'm seeing any new film that I'm seeing of late. Which is a shame, but, that's how it goes. Either way, thanks for watching. Oh, one other thing, before I forget, how could I forget? One other thing I really enjoy is the song at the end. Like, the song at the end of the first film, I really enjoy Honeymoon Suite's You're a Lethal Weapon. At the end of this, I really enjoy the song by George Harrison. Yes, one of the Beatles himself. George Harrison did this song called Cheer Down. Cheer down. I don't know the words to it, so I can't really do much to it. Now I'm trying to remember the words to that song. I really enjoy the song, but I don't have it committed to memory, the words and such. I can see, shit, I can see from your grin. I can't remember the rest. Shit, but I really enjoy that song, Cheer Down. I thought it really was a fun song to listen to while the end credits played. And either way, worthy sequel, Lethal Weapon 2. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for Lethal Weapon 3 later.